Once we've started and created and configured a new session, we need to get some audio into our session to make it work. So I'm going to talk about importing audio, that you might have some loops on a drive or some other types of audio to bring in. So there's a couple of different ways that you could do it, but one of the most effective ways is to utilize the Pro Tools Workspace Browser. The Workspace Browser is located under the Window menu, and you can get to it by also clicking on Option semicolon. It'll bring up a floating window up onto your screen in which you can see all of the drives that are currently on your computer or hooked up to your computer externally. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my loop section of my drive and scroll down and find my Pro Tools loops. As you know, when you purchase Pro Tools, you have the option of getting a whole bunch of loops that are definitely inspiring to write with. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go to my drums, and I'm going to go in and find some beats, and I have in the Workspace Browser a whole bunch of audio files that have come up just by clicking on the disclosure arrows that are next to each file folder. In order to preview these files, I can go ahead and click on the audio file and then click on the speaker in the Workspace Browser to hear it. So let's go ahead and hear some of these. Oh, maybe the speaker over here. So you can see all of these are pretty previewable right here in this Workspace Browser. So if I wanted to work with one of these, I take note of the numbers that are in front of these files. And many loops will come with a file with a number in front of it or designate what the beats per minute of that particular file is. So it's important to notice that what's going on with this dance loop here is at 113 beats per minute. However, my current session is at 120 beats per minute. So if I wanted to preview that file at the actual session tempo of 120 beats per minute, what I would do is enable the metronome at the top of the Workspace Browser, and then come over to the section to the right of that, which has our elastic audio algorithms: polyphonic, rhythmic, monophonic, and vari-speed. Since this is a rhythmic drum track, I'm going to choose the rhythmic algorithm and then go ahead and preview the loop. So now it's playing back at 120 beats per minute. If I wanted it to play faster, or in other words, change the session tempo by clicking on the red diamond session start marker, I can go in, change the tempo to 130 beats per minute, bring back up our Workspace Browser, click on that dance track again, and now it's playing back at 130 beats per minute. So now all of these loops are going to preview and at the current session tempo. If I didn't want to hear it at the current session tempo, again, just click off on the metronome and then it will go back and play back at its normal tempo of 115 beats per minute in this case. So let's just say I wanted to stick with 130 beats per minute and have this clip come into Pro Tools on a track and play at 130 beats per minute. With the Workspace Browser, I can just click on that loop name and drag and drop it into the track. And now I can see that loop in the track. So if I zoom in on it, hit return to go to the beginning of the session, it's now playing at 130 beats per minute. So importing audio through the Workspace Browser is a really handy way of getting audio into your session and conforming to the session tempo that you currently have chosen.